been a little over 1 year since I made the massive life transition from an active duty military career of 10 years to pursuing my dream job of going full-time on YouTube. How has it been, honestly? Well, to summarize and put it simply,
awesome.
It was everything I thought it would be and more. There's been some growing pains and whatnot, but it has been amazing. And like I said, everything that I pictured it would be as a dream job, but I'm living it. It's a reality now. It's fucking crazy. But going from one of the strictest and most structured jobs in the world, for the most part, you know what you're supposed to do on what days, wearing what uniform, and then jump ship, see what I did there, to having the utmost freedom by being your own boss. Not only are you self-employed, but you're self-employed working as an online entertainer. That makes it sound like I have a OnlyFans or something. But yes, truly, I mean, you're in the entertainment industry. People watch you to be entertained and informed on the biggest video platform in the world, Google's YouTube. But there's a couple topics I wanted to touch on that I don't hear any YouTubers that have been doing it a long time or even new perspective online content creators talk about these topics. The first one is going to be taxes. Guess what? Basically a third of what you earn on YouTube, you're going to have to set that aside into a little savings account and write a little check to the IRS at the end of the year. This is because you're paying self-employment tax, which is an additional 15% on top of your regular income tax, which obviously are different brackets depending on your income, which by the way has absolutely zero cap on YouTube. And if you're doing things correctly, you should be in essence getting a raise pretty much the entirety of your career. In essence, there's no limitation or cap as to the potential of what you could earn on YouTube. And in a typical job, an employee-employer situation, your employer automatically takes out those taxes for you. So most likely at the end of the year, depending on how you've been claiming 0 and 1, if you have dependents and whatnot, you're probably going to get some money back. At least I always did in my years in the workforce. I started working when I was 16. Then I had a warehouse job as a forklift operator and an HVAC delivery man. Starbucks, Pete's Coffee and Tea, in the Navy all the way up until, well, I just turned 34 and I got out a year ago. Matthew McMatherton, I got out when I was 33 and now I'm a full-time YouTuber living his dream job before I hit my middle-age crisis. So I can enjoy that for all of you. You can just watch that disaster unfold. But you have to manually keep track of all of your earnings. I recommend some kind of an Excel spreadsheet or something like QuickBooks or whatever, because basically at the end of the day, you're running a small business if you have a YouTube channel. You have income and expenses, investing in equipment, which by the way is all a tax write-off, computers, etc. If you're not claiming those as tax write-offs at the end of the year, you absolutely should be. If you're creating content around it and that was the primary reason for you purchasing it, you'd be a numbskull to not. Things like home internet, things like the exact square footage of this room that I have dedicated, purposed as a YouTube studio. So this entire room of my house gets claimed as a home office. My home internet, which by the way, I've got to have that balls to the wall flagship performance, so that ain't cheap. That's also a tax write-off. So keep in mind, you need to keep tight records so the IRS doesn't come up and try and slap you silly with a salmon. You need to know exactly what you're earning and what you're spending with your YouTube channel. It doesn't really matter that much when you first start out because it's going to be quite a long time before you earn even $1 US or whatever your native currency is, your local currency. It's going to be a long time of you creating videos before you get paid from it. I was making videos for over a year before I saw my first paycheck. It was a little under $50 and my God, I remember that day like it was yesterday. And every stream of income that you have from YouTube, whether it's affiliate market links or sponsors or Google AdSense revenue from the little pre-roll ads that everyone skips, that's all taxable income. So don't forget about it because the IRS sure as fuck won't. The next one is going to be a big shocker to everyone, but Google doesn't have a medical or dental plan for YouTubers. I know, fucking shocking. When you join the YTPP and become part of the YouTube partner program, you should be filling out a 401k retirement dental package plan. No, you don't have any of that. You are your own entity as a YouTuber. You're a lone wolf. You stand alone making content when and how you see fit. Part of the beauty of the job is ultimate freedom. I can't think of any job off top of the cranium that has that level of freedom, which is insane if you're coming from something like law enforcement or military that is incredibly strict and structured to just being buck wild with life, just running rampant and having no leashes or chains on you. It's a big learning curve. Take it easy. But the next one is going to be there is no medical or dental coverage. You're going to have to pay out of the pocket for that. I separated from active duty service after 10 years. Sure enough, being deployed on ships isn't too kind to the mind or body, so I'm a disabled veteran, which means that I have medical coverage through the VA, which I am incredibly thankful for. When I actually got my letter saying that I had my percentage, my rating, I wept a little bit. They were tears of joy. I was just so overjoyed that I wasn't getting shafted and getting nothing from my 10 years that I had put in, because you're not eligible for retirement until hitting a threshold of 20 years, which I sure as hell wasn't going to do. No offense to the military, but but when you have YouTube presented to you on a platter and it's already earning more than your active duty military job, which is stressing you to a new level, and you can just talk about video games over here and earn more and be the happiest clam you can be, you'd be a silly willy to not do that. Where was I going with this? My God, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm just gonna leave all this in the video. I could cut it out, but why? I mean, this is all valid, my thought process, as I'm just letting that river flow for you. Ah, yes, medical coverage from the VA. However, they don't cover dental and vision, so I'm paying out of pocket for that, but that ain't shit because I've got the eyes of an eagle and this grill isn't that busted. But the biggest change or adjustment has by far been having so much time on my hands, because when you're juggling an active duty military career plus your personal life, trying to build relationships with family and friends and whatnot, plus do things for yourself, go out and enjoy your hobbies, paintballing, whatever the hell you like to do, play soccer, golf. I don't know you that well. But then on top of that, you're working a second full-time job trying to grow a YouTube channel because you're your own editor, you're filling out that long description box of every video, you're making your own thumbnails in Photoshop or Canva, you're emailing back and forth with these companies' PR teams to get products sent for review, which is pretty challenging when you're a small channel because they don't want to work with you because you don't have much of an impact or following. You are a one-man or woman army. Plus, you're also in the Army or Coast Guard or Air Force or whatever. It is a lot. It is totally overwhelming. But then when you remove one of those careers and you're only focusing on one, you have so much time on your hands that you can really get lost in your head and start swimming around in your little pool of emotions. And now we're getting into like veteran mental health territory and stuff like that, which is incredibly important. And I'm solid as a boulder there, but there was a little period for a few months where I wasn't the most stable mentally. I wasn't suicidal or anything like that, but I just wasn't the happiest. So pretty much YouTube is a primary focus in my life. Again, no limitation or caps to the possibilities of what you can do on YouTube because you are your own boss and you can absolutely grow it into a business, whether you're selling physical products or software, services, whatever. But having all this extra time on your hands, you definitely have to be proactive with time management, be your own boss and stay on top of your ass to get YouTube videos out, but then also allocate time for yourself, for free time, for personal life so you don't lose it, burn out, and then just not want to do the YouTube thing anymore, which you worked so hard to achieve in the first place. It's what you've been grinding for years, and then you get there and you're like, fuck this, I don't even want to do it. And then you're just completely lost in your life and you're just like, oh, having a panic every day. You don't want that. At the end of the day, or end of the video, I guess I should say, the best tidbits or nuggets I can drop is to focus on internal happiness over external materialistic factors such as, oh, I'm going to get that new car, or I'm going to start dating a fucking Instagram model, or I'm going to become a full-time YouTuber, or I'm going to make $1 million, or I'm going to get jiggity jacked and get my deadlift to 315. Some of these are positive goals, but the point is to not focus on individual factors or events that you think are going to make you happy, and in the grand scheme of things, just focus on yourself and making yourself happy. That doesn't mean whacking off in the corner. When I say making yourself happy, self-gratification, I'm talking about taking care of yourself, not just dumping every ounce of gamer goo that you can produce into your YouTube channel, but also giving back to yourself a little bit. Waking up a little bit early to go for that jog or do that little yoga or meditation that you know makes you happy, instead of just sleeping until noon, hopping on your phone directly into the negativity of social media, and then trying to haphazardly, sloppily throw together a video thinking that people aren't going to notice that your content's slipping like a bad transmission because you as a content creator aren't happy. Now, if it sounds like I'm kind of talking to myself a little bit here, I am, because I've experienced some of this myself in the past. And facts are, most of you watching will experience similar trials and tribulations, if you will, in your journey becoming a full-time content creator, live streamer, YouTuber. There's other platforms out there now too, like Kick, which, you know, started as a gambling site, but it's also now becoming kind of a Twitch takeover for live streaming. Despite the fact this video had topics or chapters, it wasn't really as structured as I wanted it to be. It was more of a rambly, highly caffeinated video where I just let myself go. But I think that's best for any potential newcomers to YouTube, Twitch, or any entertainment platform, especially if you are active duty military or maybe law enforcement, a similar high intensity career path when you started your YouTube channel while you were in that job field, and then eventually it becomes more lucrative and also just a little bit more rewarding to you. And another little point that I've made to myself, and I also want to mention to my audience now, is that I could actually benefit the military more on the outside as a content creator and entertainer and influencer than as one more active duty body, in all honesty. Because as an influencer, you have an audience and you do just that. You influence, you can bring awareness to certain topics or issues. And I always think of, for example, Dr. Lupo fundraising $2.3 million for St. Jude's Children's Hospital in one 24-hour stream with the help of Twitch and his chat, which is an awesome thing to watch happen. And I'm not saying I'm going to go out there and earn $1 million for the Navy right now, right here, but on a smaller scale, me doing sponsored live streams games, or me doing videos about mental health awareness in the military, or working directly with these organizations like Wounded Warrior Project and Stack Up that I'm incredibly passionate about what they do. It's very near and dear to my rear to help physically and mentally disabled veterans. And I want to make this point really clear. I'm editing the video right now and I was just kind of like listening to myself. I definitely do not regret joining whatsoever. In fact, in enlisting the military was probably the best decision I ever could have made, and I attribute the man that I am today to being in the military for 10 years. It definitely formed and shaped a lot of my character traits, a lot of my positive habits, my time management, all the positive skills that I have. I definitely learned while I was in the military, and it also set up my life to fall into place exactly how it did with the YouTube and everything. There was no way that I could have just jumped right into YouTube. It just wouldn't have worked like that, at least not for me. And that 10 years that I spent in the military was incredibly rewarding. There were some stressful times, especially when you're out to sea. I actually have over a year time out in the middle of the ocean on Navy ships, and not all that was pleasurable. This is no Carnival cruise line or anything. You're out there doing business, projection of force, protecting the country and whatnot, making it sound real badass, because it is, to be honest. Absolutely 110% do recommend it. It was a good experience for me. Even the stressful moments were lessons for me, and no complaints whatsoever. Absolutely 10 out of 10 would recommend if you're thinking about it. Get your college in or whatever you're trying to get out of it. So near the end of my military career, I'd say around the 8.5 year mark is when my YouTube channel started really popping off, flourishing. I wasn't spending that. I wasn't blowing it on hookers and blow. I was stuffing it in a satchel, a savings account, a high yield savings account, where it still sits to this day, by the way. Just like Park B, Jurassic Park, it still sits there. That's a nice little crisis fund, a nest egg, if you will. If there's an emergency, my channel explodes, I have to go out there and get a real job, finish getting my real estate license, become an agent, do something like that, as opposed to me just sitting on my buttery brown hairy tuchus talking controllers and video games. That over a year later, I am luckily still feeling, and every day I'm still very fulfilled by this job, because it is my dream job, and it is awesome that I achieved it. I say achieved it, it's awesome that I'm doing it now, but it's still a job. I need to treat it as such and keep pumping out that content for you, which luckily I enjoy. I genuinely do like, I don't know if it's the sound of my voice or what, but I actually do enjoy even the editing process, which is the most tedious, grinding part of being a YouTuber, is sitting there in your editing software and, you know, bloop, bloop, bloop. Even if you can afford an editor, by the way, it's not just a monetary thing. It's also just like giving up creative control of how you want your videos to look and sound and feel. You know exactly what you want it to be like, and you're going to edit it a lot better than anyone else. I mean, yes, you have to learn how to edit, but that's what YouTube's for. You can basically learn everything that you're going to learn in college and video editing courses on YouTube for free. But even that part, editing, which isn't the most fun, I even like that. And I definitely enjoy talking to the camera. I absolutely love this job. I would recommend it. 10 out of 10, 2 thumbs up, 5 stars. If it's on the menu, order it. It is delicious. Make sure you're not allergic to it. Make sure you're not allergic to hard work, because it is hard work, especially trying to get a channel off the ground while you are active duty military or law enforcement or high intensity jobs that have like that kind of mentality. Definitely active duty military for sure. Officers too, but you know, I'm talking to my enlisted grunts over here down there in the trenches, so to speak. It doesn't have to be physical soil trenches. You're not storming the Battle of Normandy. You might be at a desk. You might be in IT or something getting carpal tunnel syndrome, but your mental health is a slipping. Jawfeel. Yeah. One team, one fight. Peace. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers. This information will reach and assist them as well, which in turn helps me grow this little channel, which I do greatly appreciate. Subscribe for more content like this. I cover news in the gaming community and industry, tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing, as well as honest gaming product reviews, keyboards, mice, headsets, controllers, mics, chairs, etc. There are some hefty exclusive discount codes found only in the description of my videos and only for the audience here at GamerHeaven. I have links to all my other platforms and socials in the description below. To get in touch with myself and the Stallions and Stallionettes of GamerHeaven, join the community Discord, and check me out at twitch.tv where I go live every other leap year on a blue moon if it falls into an odd calendar number and my pH balance is on point. Just kidding. Starting June, I'm going to be live streaming a lot. Thanks for watching. This has been AK40 Kevin hosting GamerHeaven, and I'll see you tomorrow because I upload daily. All the time. 60% of the time. Sometimes. Most of the time. Peace.